Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another set of Genshin Impact reactions. Today we have another 2 from Harshit and of course a bunch of people who upvoted their comment. This will be Skyfire Circlet and Land of Primal Flame. Those are both kind of weird titles to say. It took me a few takes to get those words out of my mouth, not gonna lie. Harshit also commented that these are an eerie theme and an epic theme, and I'm not sure if that's supposed to be the vibe of the song or if that's like a specific thing about the quest or timeline that they're taking place in. I know they're from Radiance of Flame, but that doesn't really give me anything. I've learned already that these albums are very diverse, so I'm not going to go in with any expectations, only that as context. So I guess without further ado, let's go. That sounds really soft. Ah. Okay. Just a very slow build. Okay, that's weird. Some really odd atmospheric choices here. So, Harshit saying that this is eerie is definitely supposed to be a tone. I wasn't fully sure, but I can kind of see it. Ooh. Using some like metallic resonance stuff in the sound design. Okay. Otherworldly, sci-fi-esque. At first I wasn't entirely sure because it sounded more like it was going in a cinematic direction, which it still kind of is. It makes me wonder about the next song. Like, is that going to be more epic? Ooh. Oh, something big. Yeah, there's a lot of like, I mean, tension, obviously, like crazy. Oh, and then it hangs on that. Oh. Okay. This one is gonna be difficult, I think, actually. Whoa. So this one's interesting because it has this pressure behind it, but I don't necessarily know what to classify that pressure as. Is it a threat, or is it just the sensation of feeling like something could go wrong? Kind of like when you feel like something's watching you, but you know nothing's there. It's that kind of feeling. So I understand the eerie moniker that this was given. I'm just not fully sold on exactly how it's eerie alone. It feels cinematic. It feels like it has that suspense to it. But it also has sound effects and sound design in it that makes me feel like there's creatures that are huge. Like, again, that metallic sort of sound design is used in a lot of film to signify sci-fi creatures or something much larger than you, something extraordinarily deadly, but is also massive, like beyond comprehension levels of size. So I'm sitting here like, I don't know if there are creatures like that in Genshin. I've never seen them, and usually they skew more towards the fantasy side than they do sci-fi, you know? Like, it's not science fiction, it's fantasy more often than not. I know they have a little bit of stuff in there, like kind of grazing the line of steampunk, but it's not really. So this makes me wonder what that could mean, because if there isn't creatures that are making these sounds, which I guess they could be, maybe they're signifying dragons, that would just be a really weird choice. Point being, it could also be the scale of some place too, because if a place is large, you're getting that scale, and you could reattribute some of those bigger metallic sounds to basically a gigantic cavern or like a huge monolithic volcano of sorts, you know, something that would feel like it's a sinking feeling in your gut when you look at it. So given that the rest of this area has largely been centered around things in the sky or flying, maybe that's part of it. I'm wondering if there isn't this just like giant floating thing. I know we've talked about like a floating building or something like that in prior videos. I can't remember which one, but maybe this is kind of a part of that. Maybe there's like, I don't know. Okay, work with me here. Let me work this out. Maybe this is like a gigantic wasteland space in the sky, because then you would have that like death aspect of it feeling like there's something ominous around, like there's just destruction, but also you can see the scale of everything around you, and there's the threat of what's looming below, aka if you fall you die. Maybe there's a little bit of that, but I'm not necessarily going to commit to that and say that that's the case, because with all the sound design stuff in here, it really feels like a creature is looming. That's what I'm getting out of this one, and if there's not one, then it must be the scale of the location, and maybe the vibe of the place is just kind of, death was here, you know? Like, I don't feel like this is necessarily a post-apocalyptic sort of thing. It doesn't quite feel like that, but it does have that decay vibe in the song, and a lot of that is sound design based, and it does have this eerie, ominous feel to all of the instruments in it, but I don't necessarily know where to place this one in tone. This is weird. This is really weird. I because I would usually associate something like this with like a cinematic sci-fi experience, not necessarily something in a more fantasy-centric style. So this is kind of an odd one for me. I don't necessarily think it fits the vibe of Genshin as far as I know it, at least, but maybe that's just because there's parts of this world that I haven't seen at all. I barely know this album. I haven't really seen much from like this part of the game from where all these songs have taken place, so maybe there's something else here. Maybe there's like an extra evolution in the world building that I just haven't seen yet, but this feels unreal in a way where like it doesn't feel like it really sits in the rest of the vibe of the songs that I've gotten from Genshin and the world I've built in my mind about how this place is. So I don't know if that's a good or bad thing necessarily. I feel like I'm missing key context there to really make a valid call on that, but I think it's a cool song. I just don't know how it fits in Genshin, I suppose. But that's also because I haven't played it yet, so there's that aspect as well. I think the song is made very well. I think it has a lot of use of that sparse spacing between everything, just utilizing a lot of that minimalism in this sound design to make it feel more eerie, which I now agree is pretty eerie, but there's something about the tone of it that doesn't quite fit for me, but I'm fairly certain that's just because I haven't played the game. Speaking of which though, good transition here, I will be playing that like by the time you guys are watching this video. I think the stream will be like tomorrow, so keep an eye out for when I make the announcement and everything on my community tabs, and of course when the live stream like notice goes up, because it will be there. I'll be trying out Genshin for the first time. I won't be in this area. I don't think I'll be anywhere near this. I'll have to go through all of the like tutorial stuff and figure out the game first, so like I don't believe I'm anywhere near this area, but I still want to try the world out and feel it out and actually get an experience with the world myself. So if you want to watch that, keep an eye out for that, but I'm going to get to Land of Primal Fire because I've been yapping about this one for a little too long now. Ooh. Ooh. Okay. I can see where Harshit was saying epic. This definitely has more of that traditional cinematic energy to it. This feels more fitting. This fits my expectations of the area much better. Ooh, I thought it was going to keep climbing up. It did not. Woo. Yeah, it just kind of goes up like to the half point of where I think it could keep climbing. This has a lot of like resets. Ooh. Nice big accents here too. Extra layer. Got the voices in there now, bringing up the energy. Good natural progression of that. One more. And it went back down again. Oh. Ah. There it is. And a full resolution too, with a little bit of a dangly bit at the end there. Okay, that's much more fitting to what I've come to learn about this area. So now I'm really interested in what the relationship between these two is. This one had so much more bravado to it. This one had the regal feeling of a king, you know, like, so I think Land of Primal Fire fits the title here because it sounds like something that would belong to that name, you know? Like it's got the presence. It's just like, we are the land of Primal Fire. This is our land, you know? It's just got such a presence. I can't help but love that. This is the sort of song where like you want to walk out onto the ledge of a mountain or something and just look, you know, like it's just got that feeling to it. It's an overview of the world and the land you're looking out on, and I feel like it fits that perfectly. And that's why I'm now confused what Skyfire Circlet and this song have in common, if anything. I know that Hardshit will sometimes just throw me songs that are like within the same album and be like, they're related. I guess you're technically right, but also I wonder if these happen in a similar area, or like I again assume that all these songs come from like roughly the same part of the world. That's usually how they do these albums, but how would the last area and this area fit? Because this is the overview scope sort of song. This feels so much like you're being presented this place for the first time, or it's the first time you get a really good look at it. It's almost like the theme of the land, it feels like. And then the other one feels like a very, very fine point that is extremely hyper-specific to that location. Because why else would it sound like that when this sounds like this, you know? When there's such a presence to it, there's such a bolstering of confidence in this song, and it's epic and cinematic and sweeping and gorgeous, and the whole time kind of teasing you a little bit. And like I was mentioning in the reaction, it doesn't like ever get to that point where it completely climbs up and then sweeps into another movement or anything. It keeps stopping roughly where I'm expecting it to build into another half, and then it just goes back. And then it loops that a few times in a different way before finally resolving it at the end by bringing it up, it dissonates it, and then it lets it go. And it's like, what the hell is all this? So you're bringing it up, then you hit a minor, and then you release everything. And it also had that little tail at the end, which I just think is like a good characterization for this world too. Like there's still a lingering essence of like the original location. I feel like it's evolved since then. That little tail makes me feel like this whole world is definitely evolved and still very strong in its roots, but has moved on and kept a part of that older sound and that older feeling alive with its culture. So that's what that does for me. And I feel like that's just a little bit of it, you know, like there's just a little bit. This is an overview of their culture, you know, of the world, the land that we are about to enter or have been in for a while. And now you're just getting the full bigger picture of it. And then the other one's just kind of knocking against my skull. Like, what is that? Where is that? What would that be? Some old place, some old abandoned like ritual site, maybe something. Again, it feels like it's kind of a scope thing. So again, these both are kind of similar in that way, where like the other one feels like you're looking at this terrifying location that spans out in front of you, or is like a creature that is larger than life and you don't know how to process it. But then this one is the exact polar opposite in feel. So it's like, how does that space exist in this space? Is that like kind of a yin yang situation? Is it like two sides of the same coin? You know, like, is that what the world does here? Or is it something just completely isolated in a corner of this grand area that this is introducing us to? I don't even know if these are related in that way. I'm trying to find a connection of any sort. And if that's the case, then it makes me wonder why I didn't hear any of that like reflected in this song, you know, like any of that like darker backbone. I guess I could say maybe that like minor fall in the song at the end when it was trying to climb up might have been a signifier of that, but I also don't know. So it's really hard sometimes to figure out if any of these are actually connected or if they're just because they're in the same album. But I guess that's all the better I can say on this one. This one definitely feels more like the area I have come to know than the other song. The other song just took me by surprise because I didn't know how to process that sound in this part of the world at all. But I have yapped about this one enough already, so thank you all so very much for watching. If you have something else you want me to get to, by all means, drop it in the comments below, and I will do my best as always to get to those. Or if you don't want to do any of that, you just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, much like me playing Genshin in like a day or two, then you know how to do all that, and I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!